Baylor's, they went through a lull. And even Grayson wrote a story about it in Sikkim365.com in the premium section that they needed some sort of adrenaline rush, and they got it. And Ja'Cory Watson, the former quarterback, a wide receiver at Shadow Creek, and then yesterday, Kamauryn Morgan of South Oak Cliff, who's a highly ranked player. And I thought Grayson said it's the 10th highest rated player Baylor's ever gotten a commitment from. Whether that's based on whoever you want to believe as far as the rankings, but that's a nice hit. They deluged Twitter timeline yesterday with this shirt that said Resurgence, which is a 2 for R, and 5 is also included for the class of 2025. This is a nice pickup for them. The question is, keep them until they get to December.
Yeah, and you left out Jackson Blackwell from Lorena, yeah, who they also picked up in the last week as well. So they've had a trifecta of pledges that have created some excitement, and there hasn't been a lot of that when it comes to the recruiting side of things. So, yeah, Kamauryn Morgan, 4-star, now committed, and had a boatload of big offers. This wasn't like you beat out La Tech and you beat out SFA and you beat out UTEP. I mean, this was you beat out a lot of big-time programs who were hoping to land Kamauryn Morgan. So he keeps the train on rolling. And to your point about the rating, I believe I saw it where he's obviously the highest rated player in this class for them, but the highest rated defensive player that they've had, where did that go? I just had that a second ago. Ninth highest rated all-time commit. I thought it was just for defense, but it's ninth highest rated all-time commit. Based on the source, I think that's probably from 247. So as you said, it can kind of differ, I guess, if you were to look at rivals' old rankings. Although I don't really hear people cite them very much modern times as much.
There's some that are like blasting it out probably better when it comes to promoting on social media, promoting themselves. But yeah, there's still the rivals and 247 on 3, et cetera.
They've been around long enough to have a history. I mean, I know they can go back and use information from other sites. So yeah, I think that's just from 247's history. But regardless, those are going to be similar to what those others would have been. Same place, same time, and he's a top all-time commit for them. So that's big. And I mentioned the offer list, and he had Oregon, Georgia, Florida, USC, TCU, Texas, Tennessee, Auburn, 4-star across the board, top 100 guy. So, and guy coming off the edge. So you love seeing Dave Aranda get big-time defensive prospects, and you just hope that he can, again, hold on to them and then actually utilize them, much like when you look around on this defense from last year and then heading into this year and the Caden Jenkins type players. Like, if you can hold on to those guys and build them, there's some optimism out there somewhere that you can find pretty easily. But, the name of the game is keeping them. He's able to keep Caden Jenkins for a second season. We'll see how he builds off that. But you keep adding Kamauryn Morgan type players, and you're going to be winning some football games.
Well, the biggest question, to me, for this team is, are the big guys who block and tackle going to do that well enough? And talking about the defense in particular, when you get a guy like Morgan who is off the edge and lethal like that, I think that it's incumbent upon Dave Aranda to find those guys where he has in the past. But right now, from what I know about the front seven coming back from last year, I got to wait and see. Have they gotten better? Because they weren't good in any of that last year. And that was a huge spot that was, to me, kind of surprising.
Well, that's
they weren't good at.
The 2021 team was packed with what they had up front. And obviously they have not followed up with that. And then, of course, they had some retirement players with injuries that forced them out of the game. It's still, again, a young man that can't help until 2025. But it brought some smoke. It brought a lot of attention. And Keenan Hall, Dallas Baker, Matthew Pallett, some of those coaches that have been in that area. And that's a nice one. And when I saw him and he committed to Baylor, it caught my attention a little bit more. And I think the young man from Lorena, Blackwell, who we had on the show, will be projected much higher before it's all said and done. Plus, as we mentioned, Ja'Cory Watson from Shadow Creek. So it's just the beginning.
I saw somebody make the comment about Baylor landing some big prospects makes the state of Texas more interesting, because then like they're playing up to their level of ball, and then TCU's doing their thing and Texas Tech's doing their thing, and obviously A&M and UT are doing their things. But Houston's already had a really good run so far in 2025. So Baylor was the kind of, I guess, lone team out there that you were. SMU's obviously doing really well. There's the lone team out there that you're kind of like, where are they in the big picture? And now the last week or so, they've made a few waves and they're getting very involved and beating a lot of those teams that I just mentioned for prospects. So it definitely makes it more interesting and definitely gets you a bit more excited about the possibilities and what they can continue building. But a lot is going to come down to this year. But the recruiting class, I looked at it earlier, and I don't know if this has been adjusted here recently. That's their third 4-star, I think. So that's got them, right there alongside Tech and Houston and some of those schools. So they're in good shape as so long as they keep building and they keep the guys that they have.
And the unknown of who they are when it comes to the season. I had somebody tell me within the football program, he goes, we got some stuff coming for the fall. And now, whether that's wins or not, that remains to be seen. And obviously they need that after the last couple of years. So disappointing the way that finished 22. And then the way last year they just never even got started. Here is Grayson Grunhafer with Kamauryn Morgan of South Oak Cliff, his commitment to Baylor.
This is Grayson Grunhafer with SicEm365.com, and I am here with South Oak Cliff 2025 Edge, Kamauryn Morgan, and the latest Baylor commit, Kamauryn Morgan. Man, congratulations. You just committed to Baylor. What's this day mean to you?
It means a lot. They showed real love from the beginning. That was my very first offer. And, they stayed with me during the process, make sure I was all right, make sure the family was good. And I truly believe in the vision that Baylor has coming into the next seasons.
Man, that's awesome. What kind of led you to this point where you decided to, go ahead and make this decision in July? Because I know you were talking about maybe waiting a little bit longer.
Yeah, I wanted to just focus on my season going into my senior year. I wanted to go ahead and get it out the way. So that factored mainly into that.
So I do have to ask you about this because, this is a big deal, man. You're a top 10 commit of all time in Baylor history, like ranking wise. How special is that for you just to kind of be, kind of the face of Baylor recruiting over the last, 8 years or so?
It's very special to me, you coming somewhere and, being the highest recruiter they've ever got. But it really doesn't mean much because I feel like I'm just here to come and play ball, make an impact, help things change around. The players, they're very hungry and they want to go win again. So that's what I want to be a part of.
Right. Do you think this kind of maybe opens up the door a little bit as far as, Baylor landing other, high profile prospects just because, it's shown now, a top 100 guy, has decided, to go to Baylor?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like coming to Baylor definitely opened up for other top guys because you can go to Baylor and do the same thing. You can go do anywhere. You can get to the league. You can get developed. The people are amazing. Place is nice. It's like no other.
So after your official visit, it kind of goes in line with what we just kind of talked about. But you told me that a big pitch that the staff told you was they want you to be the face of the 2025 class and that made your day kind of on the visit. What does that mean to you now that you are committed and you truly are going to be, the face of this 2025 class for the Bears?
It means a lot. That just brings on big responsibilities. Just coming in, being the face of the class, and just helping get other guys to come in and commit down the road. It's just a great feeling just knowing that.
Is that something you want to do? Like you want to go out and recruit other guys?
Definitely, I want to definitely. I feel like Texas got the best talent, so I want to, come to Baylor. Great things happening over there.
So as far as Baylor goes, just your recruitment with Baylor, I know they've been recruiting you for a long time, but, in all honesty, it kind of all picked up in January when Keenan Hall, got hired at Baylor. It felt like your kind of interest in the program went up to another level. What do you kind of remember about that period in January where you came for the junior day and then how that just kind of interest expanded with Keenan Hall and just getting to know the coaches more?
Yeah, with Keenan, that's like family. He went to school with my pops and my uncle. So with him going there, that just opened up, just more access and seeing what the place is really like, seeing how people are really treated there. And he just opened up our eyes way more to what Baylor really is.
Yeah, so I would say kind of this year at least, everyone kind of knows Baylor needs to perform well for the staff to stay there. What made you feel confident kind of in the program and just that they're going to get things fixed this year to make sure the staff stays and that, things are smooth when you get there?
What made me so confident was the staff. They have a plan. They have a great plan, and the players they're very bought in. Like they're really hungry to win. And Coach Aranda, he done did great things. He never had a poor defense, so I feel like that's amazing for them.
What can you talk a little bit just about their vision or what they've told you, kind of their game plan over the next year or so to get back to where they were?
Really, so just getting more guys like me in, and that they were young, so just building their guys up, getting their IQ better, bigger, faster, stronger, just time. It was just time. Mainly, they were just preaching like it's about to be time.
And I know when you were on your visit to Baylor, you talked a little bit about Keenan Hall, but something that you really kind of, I feel like, mentioned a ton and it was really important to you was just the people at Baylor and whether that was the coaches or the staff or just the vibe, the family vibe. Can you kind of talk about the people at Baylor and why they're just so special?
The people, the staff, the people that live there, they show real love. Like, some people they try to just put a smile on their face, but like they actually show that they're like they care for you, that they're there for you, that you're needed. Their whole thing is person over player. So that really caught my attention.
And you mentioned a little bit your family connection to me before we started recording. Can you kind of talk about that family connection, how that maybe played a role in your commitment a little bit?
Yeah, my uncle Jameson Morgan, he actually attended Baylor. I don't remember what year, but he played basketball for them. And just talking to him, and he said Baylor's a great place. He got a degree there, graduated, so it's just awesome.
Is that cool to kind of have that family connection, that family, even more family vibe to it at Baylor?
Definitely, definitely.
I know that kind of your recruitment's been a rather interesting one. You have offers from kind of everywhere. And I know it's hard to go visit all those places, but you took some official visits and really kind of did your homework on figuring out where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
Did you kind of on these official visits, did you ever feel like you were going to end up somewhere other than Baylor?
Really, during my process, I really never knew until the end, because it was just pretty much just hearing the same thing. Pretty much, we have nice facilities. We're going to get you to school. We're going to get you to the NFL. We're going to develop you. But it's just the real love is where you go.
Right. And all those other programs that you recruited you. I mean, did you ever, I guess, just, Baylor's kind of, I feel like doesn't have some of the, allure that maybe some of the other schools do that are bigger name programs, at least right now. Did you ever feel like you were getting swayed to go to the bigger schools or the more high profile schools at all? Did that ever come to your mind?
What do you mean by that? Like being swayed to going there?
No, just kind of when you're going through the process and looking at different schools and looking at the SEC or looking at the Big Ten, like did any of those factors kind of play a role in this when you ultimately just decided, Baylor was the best fit for you?
Oh, no, not really. But the SEC schools definitely tried to pitch, we're SEC, this is the best of the best. You're going to go against the best of the best. But I feel like when going in, everybody's big, everybody's strong, everybody knows football, so the better man gonna win.
Definitely. So as far as the Baylor side, even more, how much of a role did Dave Aranda play in your recruitment and just kind of what were your conversations like with him?
He played a real big role. Coach Aranda is very genuine, and he like really cares about the person. Like you could talk to him all day about just anything, literally just anything that you think of, and he relates to you and understands. And for him, it's bigger than football.
Yeah, and he was your first call when you decided to commit to Baylor last week. What was that conversation like, and just kind of what did he tell you, and how excited was he for you to, ultimately tell him you're going to be a Bear?
He was very excited, that I was staying home, and like he said, we were going to be making it real hard for these offenses, very hard.
There you go, and he's taken over defensive coordinator duties as well. He's really kind of putting a huge emphasis on that. How appealing is that for you?
That's amazing because I've seen where he did it everywhere he's been, so I know it's going to be special.
Right, and kind of in line with that, he's coached a lot of NFL guys at your
Hmm.
position as far as pass rushers go. Um, do you feel really confident that he can get you where you want to go?
Definitely. I feel like he can develop me to get to the next level. Easy.
Okay, and kind of tying in line with that with Caleb Collins, I know he played another big role in your recruitment. It was kind of a full staff effort here.
Hmm.
Um, what did Caleb Collins talk to you about as far as how they want to utilize your specific skill set?
He said I'm gonna be utilized literally at all times on the field. Like if he feels this is a mismatch on this side, let's get you going over there. Basically, he's saying he don't want me to be a bullet taker. He want us to be attacking.
Right, and as far as like your fit on in this Baylor defense, or do you kind of view it early on it's going to be more of pass rushing, run stopping, or do you feel like you're kind of already there to drop into coverage or do different things that maybe an outside linebacker would be asked to do?
Yeah, I feel like everything that the outside linebacker would be asked to do. When I was going through how I would play into the defense, coach was breaking down. I'd be rushing the passer, stopping the run, dropping back in coverage, pretty much just doing everything.
Do you feel like that fits your skill set, kind of doing multiple things instead of just, one specific thing?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that really lets you show your athleticism and not be a robot.
Absolutely. So I think, can you tell me a little bit about kind of where your height and weight is at and your wingspan? I've heard some stuff that your wingspan is over 80 inches long. Do you know kind of where you're at there measurements wise?
I think it was 82 to be exact when I went down to Baylor to get measurements. But yeah, I was 6'4" and a half, 220 pounds when I was weighed in. So
Like 82-inch wingspan, man. That's crazy.
yeah, definitely.
As far as this past season, I mean, I know you had a breakout year kind of at Red Oak. I felt like, you took another jump this past season. Now you're moving over to South Oak Cliff. What's kind of your goal this summer and then going into the fall? What are the goals that you've set for yourself?
My goal is just to get bigger, faster, and stronger. I feel like if I do that, it's just nothing that can stop me. Like I feel like my IQ for the game is high. I know I really study the game. So if I get bigger, faster, and stronger, it's nothing the opponent be able to do with me.
That's great. I know, you're kind of moving forward into this time period. Are you planning on early enrolling? Do you know that far in advance right now?
Yeah, I'm planning on early enrolling.
Okay, so you're going to be at Baylor in January then.
Yes, sir.
Wow. What's kind of the staff been telling you about, they want you on campus, but are they expecting you to come right in and play a big role next season during your freshman year? Is that what you want?
Yeah, definitely. That's what the staff has been communicating to me with, like instant impact when I come in as a true freshman.
Okay. Are there little like markers that you feel like you need to get to in order to play next year, like a weight that you need to get to, or an area you have to work on to get to the point where you're playing as a freshman?
Yeah, with me, I feel like with this being my last year playing basketball and I'll be able to mainly just focus on football, I'll just be getting way bigger. I feel like me just getting bigger, that'll just set me up to play instantly.
And this past year at Baylor, there were a lot of freshmen that played,
Hmm.
and I think the staff, a lot of staffs tell guys like, yeah, you're going to play as a freshman. Do you feel like Baylor really means it and kind of showed it this past season that they're willing to put the best player out there?
Yeah, definitely. They definitely showed that when we was going through meetings, going through the roster, the breakdown, they showed that I'll be able to come in and play.
And that's awesome. So as far as this day and the significance it holds for you, what does it mean to you to kind of not just commit to Baylor, but end your recruitment, just kind of, focus on, just playing football? What does it mean to you?
That means a lot because now it's a lot of stress off me. I just committed somewhere I feel home. So just being able to focus on my senior year and focus on getting my body and mind right, it just feels amazing.
When you told your family your decision to commit to Baylor, what was that conversation like? How excited were they? What did they say?
They were very excited. They it seemed like they wanted me to go to Baylor since from the jump. So yeah, they love all the people and like how they felt, like real vibes when they went out there.
And then I know you also called Keenan Hall as well, who was a big part of your recruitment. What did Keenan Hall say when you decided that Baylor was the place for you? I know he's made you a priority since he got to Baylor.
Yeah, he said it's go time. It's time to come in and do real damage. So he was very excited though.
Awesome. If you had just, I guess, a sentence to describe, what Baylor's getting from Kamauryn Morgan as far as a player, a person, what would you tell people kind of about yourself?
They're getting somebody that's locked into the program, willing to do whatever to change the program, to get us to new heights, break anything, break records. It's time.
Awesome, man. Well, Kamauryn, congratulations, man. This is awesome. I know this is a huge day in Baylor recruiting history and a great day for you. So congrats, man, on making your commitment to Baylor.
Yes, sir. Thank you.